Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. Yesterday I made, well, I say yesterday, but for me it was yesterday, for you it was probably like more closer to like earlier this week or something. I made a video on this little project here. That was like an element from the concertina box that I've shared earlier. So I thought, like, let's also do a video, because I had a few people ask me like, oh, I would like to see how you made that background paper, which is actually really easy. So I thought, like, let's make one of these elements. So we will make the paper and then actually use the paper on a small project like this. So at first I thought, like, I'm going to make it matching with this one, but there is a little but. I'm not 100% in love with this copper metallic color. Like, I don't hate it, and I'm not gonna throw this away, or I'm not going to throw the other backgrounds away. I will use it at some point, but it was a bit more difficult to find something matching with it. So I selected some elements from the Bits and Bobs Industrial Edition collage book from Marta Lapkowska from Marami's Small Art, and I found a butterfly that I liked, and a bird, and a dragonfly. The dragonfly is a little small to my liking, but it's the best size that I could find for this project, so we'll see how that goes. And they all have like a similar color scheme. I just have like a photo made here to have that a bit of view. So these are the ones that I'm going to be using, so I will also change up the color scheme for that little project in the paper a little bit, and we'll see how I like this and what's going to happen with it. So if you would like to see how I make that paper and then create a little element with the vellum and everything, then continue to watch, and we'll just work on it together. Okay, so I'm going to, you know what I really noticed when I was editing my videos, that I keep saying like, okay, that's fine. But yes, I've noticed it too. So I'm going to start with making the actual background paper. For that I've got a sheet of 12 by 12 inch white cardstock, which is 80 pounds. Please don't ask me the GSM, because I really don't remember. I got it to 6 by 6. Do you have to? No, but I just think it works a little bit easier. The one thing that you want to keep in mind, and you might see it when we're working on it, I intend to stay away from the edges a little bit. So if you really want to have a 6 by 6 piece to use, then you might want to use a bigger piece, because you work a little bit more in the center, if that makes sense. So I selected this acrylic paint, which is a really nice green. I'm going to use my titanium white again. I still had the black gesso on my desk, so I'm just going to use that one again. And then instead of the copper, I have this little set of metallic paints. I am going to use the dark gold. Now, what also is an option, and I have it from Finnebear, now that I'm talking, I actually think about it. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Oh, and it was actually just staring at me in my dresser. I also have this acrylic paint. It is a metallic, yeah, it is a metallic paint from Finnebear. It's called Deep Waters. It's a really deep blue, which I think would go as well instead of the gold, but I think I'm going to stick with the gold instead of the blue and the green. But you know, there are several options that you can go with this, and I would highly suggest that you use what you have. Okay, I'm just going to grab one sheet. Let's see, I think I'm going to make 2 sheets, but if I'm having fun, I might do all 3 of them. We'll see. So my 4th sheet I used already for some die cutting, because I knew I wasn't going to use 4 sheets. I'm going to use the same brushes that I used in the other videos, the stiff brushes here, and I'm going to start with some green. Now, I tried to work on my palette the other day, but I'm going to just put it directly onto my glass mat. It's just a little easier for me to control the amount of paint. Let me prepare a little bit of this. See, I've never used it before. I recently bought it. If you are in Australia, I found this at Bunnings, which I recently discovered that is actually a really fun store for your crafting as well, which I had no idea. But hey, we found something new. So this dry brush I'm just stepping it into my paint on the side. You can't see that, but maybe if I zoom out slightly, there we go. And I'm just, again, without thinking about it, I'm just going to make brush strokes. And if I go like, oh, it's too light, I would like to have it a little bit darker, I just put a little bit more on my brush. But I don't want to overdo it because I'm also going to add the gold. It's probably quite bright. Let's see. Oh, see how I'm not going completely up to the edge? That's what I mean. Like, you probably, if I want to cut a piece 3 by 4, I would first cut off like that first ½ inch or something, because I don't want to have that edge. Now I can also, what I'm trying to do now is just maybe be a little less worried about going onto my mat underneath, which is again my very nice bright baking mat. I'm going to change that for the future. Oh, and I had some paint on my fingers, so that's already now on my sheet. That's all fine, don't worry about it. I'm going to add a little more on my work surface there. And I think I'm going to be a little less scared this time and just have a bit more paint on my brush. So not too worried about what that looks like right now. And that's what makes it so fun, because you know what? It doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not going to be bothered with drying it. If you really want to, yes you can. So now I have that dark gold here. I'm just going to smoosh a little bit of that on here. And like I said, it's super easy. And maybe you go like now, oh, it doesn't look good at all. Since it's a background, honestly, trust me if I tell you, it doesn't matter. I can stop here, I can add a little bit more if I like to. I said it in the other video that I made for me yesterday as well. Like, it doesn't really, I don't know what I was going to say. No, that's alright. I really don't know what I was going to say. There's no right and wrong. Maybe that's where I was going. It's like what you like to do. Okay. So right here, one more. Oh yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. I don't really like to waste a lot of product, so I prefer to just put a little bit on my work surface, and I can always add a little bit more on there if I feel like I need a bit more, just like I did right now. I'm just trying to find spots where maybe I feel like it's a little bit too wide and just put my brush on there as well. Okay, so oh yeah, here it is. I was thinking, where's my other brush? Okay, so we have like our start of that paper. Now, because I have black in the project, so let's take this one as an example. There is black in here. I want to have that black come back. So what am I going to do is I'm going to make some splatters with black, because I don't want it to be too dominant. Just a little dot. I can always add more. I'm going to spray some water on it, and I think I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush compared to what I used yesterday for my splatters. This one should be fine. It can be a bit more visible. Let's see. Maybe one more spray. So I just make a little, and again, not thinking about it too much, just what I like to do often is when I make my splatters is like turn my page 90 degrees, so my splatters come from a different direction, because I don't know how that is for you guys, but I intend to have my splatters to do that in the same way, and then they all come from the same direction, and that can look a little bit manufactured, if that makes sense. Kind of like that black, so I'm just adding a little bit more. And that's also how you can look at it, right? Like, oh, I like it, maybe a little bit more, maybe I stop it here because it's not completely what I wanted. All of that is fine. Now what I would also want to do is the same thing with some whites. And while I'm doing this, mixing this, I would like you to let me know, like these videos, this one and the one that I made yesterday, I'm just gonna say yesterday, they're quite lengthy, right? But I like to talk you through the process, and sometimes when I see process videos on YouTube, yes, they are fun to watch, they're engaging and everything. So I'm not saying that that's a negative thing, that they're process videos. Absolutely not. But sometimes it's like, I wonder, like I feel like, oh, I need actually a little bit more explanation on how, oh, I didn't rinse my brush properly, that's okay. Like a little bit more explanation on what they do, why they do it, how, you know, and I just like to give you that information. So my videos are a bit more lengthy, but I would like you to know what you prefer. Okay, so I have really dirty water there. I might need to go and rinse this. Now what's really fun with the splatters, they're everywhere. Well, I'll clean that off later. Now I'm contemplating, do I want to add some of the gold splatters? I think I do. Okay, that one needs to be rinsed. So, same process. Just a little dot. And another thing that I was thinking about using, now that I'm mixing this, is this contour from Stamperia. This is in the color, I want to say it's like old gold. It's like a darker gold as well. It's very similar to this metallic paint, and I can also use that one for splatters. I've tried that before and it works really well. Okay, so with this splatters done, for me the background papers are done. I'm going to give it a quick dry, although I think it's mainly the splatters that might need a little bit of a drying. The white ones mainly, what it looks like. You can stop here. You can add stamping if you prefer to do stamping. You can build on this, of course you can, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to come back with the next steps. So my papers are as good as dry. My next step will be to find some elements, to cut out elements. So like I said in the beginning of the video, these are coming from the Bits and Bobs Industrial Edition from the collage books from Maremi Small Art. I've already prepared the bird and the dragonfly, because what I did is I cut it out. Now there are two things you can do. Sorry, I cut it out and then I'm backing it with cardstock. Now, two things you can do is do what I do. I fuzzy cut it, then glue it onto the black cardstock, and then I cut it with the slightest. Am I going to keep this water? I think not. With the slightest black edge around it. Or you can cut it roughly and then stick it on the black cardstock and then do the precise fuzzy cutting in one go. But that means that you have to do the fuzzy cutting on the cardstock, like you can't have that black edge then. Does that make sense? So it's up to you what you want to do with that. So I'm going to continue to fuzzy cut this, and I said it before in the video, I'm not the best fuzzy cutter, I'm not the quickest fuzzy cutter. I'm okay with that. For me it's often a job of patience, where I just take my time on it, and it can actually really function as therapy to get it cut nicely and precise. But when you're making a video, you don't really have time for that. So I'm going to fast forward to where I'm done cutting this. We're going to glue it on some black cardstock and I'll be back in that moment. There we go. So I have a scrap piece of black cardstock. Now I am an album maker, so I have a lot of scrap pieces like the one that I have lying right here, and I love to use those pieces for things like this, so they don't quickly end up in the bin. This scrap piece might be lying around in my scrap room for my scrap room sounds a bit weird, but maybe for 2 years by now. So, and that's all right. like I don't overdo it. What I often do is when I have a lot of scrap pieces, I will just like pre-cut photo mats. So I just have them lying around. But yeah, I just use it for this sort of stuff. Even when I'm making an album, I do this with my embellishments as well, like where I back it with black cardstock and everything. So I have a good use out of my scrap pieces. I'm just going to not do this on the black, but on a piece of printer paper. And I'm using my Dina Wakley matte medium gel, which I just really like to use. And then I stick it on. Am I still in frame? I intend to go out of frame a little bit, so I'm apologizing if I do. And cover it with that gel as well to get rid of that shine a little bit. Now what I did here, these antennas are a bit flimsy, so they don't necessarily are being glued down in the right spot straight away. So just adjusting them a little bit. Now I'm going to dry this before I'm going to cut it out. There we go. Now what I also did is inked the edges a little bit with black ink, just to have that blended a little bit better onto the black cardstock. Get rid of the white edges a little bit. Now it's not easy to do it with the small pieces and the details, but that's alright. I just do it as best as I can. And now I'm going to cut around this butterfly, and I'm going to keep the tiniest of black cardstock visible, just to make my life easier. And I don't mind the look of it either, since we already have black in the project. So again, I will fast forward and see you again when I'm done with this. Okay, there we have it. It's not perfect, and that's fine with me. Now my next step would actually be to cut these papers to sizes. And now I know I said I wasn't going to do any stamping on them, but I feel like I can have a little bit more black showing on here. So I'm going to find myself a fine script stamp and some black ink, and I actually am going to try it. Oh, I just realized I did not turn on my camera before I did my stamping. The thing is, I couldn't find my ink pad, and then I got a bit flustered and, you know, stressed. So I used a smaller ink pad, the archival ink in jet black, and I used my fine script stamp, which is a stamp set from Stamperia, my most loved stamp set. I just, like, without an ink, but as a stamping block, I just like put ink on here, and I just stamped wherever. I just stamped all over the place to get a little bit more of that black in the background as well. Then I've got my paper, and what I did is I cut off a little bit of the bottom because I didn't like that edge. Then I cut it to 3 7/8 of an inch in height. So I had this strip as my scrap piece that I can use later on for like things like this. Like, you don't have to throw it away, you can still use it. And I cut it to width. Again, I cut off a little bit of the side, and then to 2 7/8. So, and then I have a black piece of cardstock that is 3 by 4. That is going to be like my background for this. So I'm just going to use one of these pieces. It doesn't really matter which one. Then I'm going to grab some vellum. So I have no idea where my vellum is coming from. It might be that it's from Michael's in Canada. Just A4 size, or what is it, 8.5 by 11. And this is the exact sheet that I used on my other project, because I'm just ripping it and I don't really pay it. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just going like maybe over here, and I just rip it. And if I think it's too wide, like here it might be too wide, I just rip it again. Now this piece I might use later on for some die cutting. And then I'm going to just roughly, I want to have about 1/2 inch overhang from my white piece of cardstock. So, and it doesn't come too near, but somewhere here. Just going to rip it again. So hopefully, let's check. I can use, oh, easily. I will just make it a little less wide. It's a bit too much for me. See, we just adjust that. Throw it out. Then I'm going to get some 1/4 inch tape, which I have lying right here. And I'll just wrap both of them. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to put that 1/4 inch tape on the side here, on the edge of the vellum. And also on the other side. You can probably also use wet glue for it, but I hardly ever use wet glue when it comes to vellum. Where's my bone folder? Somewhere underneath my mess. I still can't believe that my ink pad is gone. I don't know what I did with it. Well, anyway, I'm going to place this on top of my white cardstock. Just since I have script on here, I'm going to have it in the right direction. I think I'm going to do it like this. I will fold over this one side. I have a little bit of a messy piece here in my vellum. And I'm going to make sure that I fold that part over as well, since I can. So I will just fold over. I'm not even scoring anything, just fold it, burnish it a little bit with my bone folder, hold it all in place. I'm going to flip it over and get a little thingy to get rid of this backing here. And then just glue it down. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I just hold it tight and then fold this side over as well. And then again, I just have a little bit of a burnish, but I make sure that I burnish like from the side that's already glued down all the way to the other side, to make sure that it's not like curving the cardstock. That's not too tight, if that makes sense. And then remove that tape backing and glue that one down as well. Now all of this I'm going to stick down on my black cardstock. So for that I just like to use tape. Once again I'm going to go around the perimeter of this card and then maybe combine it with some wet glue to stick it on my black cardstock. Just to give me some wiggle time. Now I'm pretty confident that I can do it without the glue, but I said that in the video that I made earlier as well. And then I wasn't completely straight, you know, the irony. But I'm not adding a lot, just a little bit. Like if I'm not completely straight where I want it to be, I have time to lift it off of my cardstock. I'm just aiming for that black border all around. And just glue that down. Now especially when I use, well actually both with the wet glue and the double-sided tape, I like to give it a good burnish so you really make sure that everything is sticking down really well. And for the wet glue you don't want to have any, when the glue dries you don't want to see those lines behind your cardstock. So there we go. This is like one card finished. I'm going to put this to the side because I only prepared like one piece of black cardstock. I probably, when I'm done with this video, I will complete for all three elements. I will complete the cards and then take some photos of it. But which one will I use? They would all look nice. They're a bit smaller than I would like to. Like the elements in the other one, they were a bit bigger. But I just like these colors. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it anyway. Let's do the bird for the video. So, oh, and again I have to get up because I want to have this a bit rising from the surface. Dimensional is the word that I'm looking for. So I have my little box here with all different kind of foam tapes. Now in my concertina box I use this foam tape, which is like at least half of the thickness of regular foam squares that you can buy. And I believe I got this once with like build your own furniture thing box, and I just saved it and I'm using it a lot. But I think since this, I think I can just go for a regular one, and I will go for, am I going for black? Probably. I'll just cut it. That's what I did before. I thought I had smaller ones as well, but it looks like I've been cutting it, so that will work too. Where's my scissors? Right here. So let's start first with the ones that I don't have to cut. Now I don't want to stick down everything because I also have some die cuts I'm not sure if I'm going to use these ones. It's a bit big, but I will just rip it apart, like in pieces, so I can use it the way I want to. But I'm going to cut these ones in vellum and in the metallic cardstock as well. And I want to be able to like tuck them under. So I don't want to have a full-on coverage. Okay, you can add some wet glue if you want to. You can look at the position. I think I'm going to do something like this. Just make sure, and I believe I'm safe here, like that you don't, if you want to use it as a belly band, which we can, right? Because we attached it as a belly band, that you don't glue it, like if there's overhang, that you don't glue it shut if you want to use it like that. So I was in doubt about these die cuts because it's a bit bigger than I thought it would be. But I think it can be nice. Like, or am I going for something a little bit more finer detail? So the fun thing is, like, I can cut off the pieces. Is like this die cut has a matching top layer, so I can stick that on top, or like a little bit offset to get some dimension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time on running this die through my die cut machine with vellum and with the metallic cardstock, and then I'll come back and we'll try to work a little bit on an arrangement for this. Okay, I am back. Now what I did, what I should have done maybe before I've mounted it on the foam tape, is I went with my black pen and my white gel marker to just define some of the lines and put some highlights in, which I like to do to bring the image to life. So if that's something that you want to do, you can. I decided not to go for these. I just felt it was a little bit too big, like I said before, so I went with different ones. So I've cut it out. This is a die set from Paper Rose Studio. So it's like one die set and you get all three different shapes. It's called Dainty Foliage. I can't pronounce that word, that's okay. The number is 28483. I've used it on the other version of the box as well. I really like them. So I ran the die through once in white, once on the vellum and once on the metallic cardstock. And I'm just going to layer them a little bit and just tuck them under. That's like the idea. Now it's a little bit big, so I'm going to just rip it in pieces basically and make it work for me. Let's see. Just sorry for the background noise. Yep. So I'm just layering however I feel it looks good, and I was thinking maybe this one on top here. And I'm just gonna go and glue some stuff down because it's really fiddly and it starts to get a bit annoying at some point when you have to keep on redoing it. So I'm just using my art glitter glue here, and I put a little dot. I'm not adding too much, and I'm gluing it on top of each other a little bit offset, if that makes sense. So I don't want it to line up exactly. I'm just offsetting it a little bit. You can go with that however you like. And then I'm going to tuck it under here. I think that's a nice spot. I have to be a little bit careful because it's not really secure yet, although it dries quick. So again, I'm not adding too much glue to this because I want it to be a little bit loose. Now what I also wanted to say is you can, of course, add some splatters or stamping to your vellum as well if you want to. And I was thinking about it, but I forgot before I glued it down. You can also like ink the edges of the cardstock. I used here some vintage photo just to highlight the edges a little bit and have that brown come back a little bit more. But I forgot. That's alright. I'll just won't do it then. So maybe something here. So again, I'm just going to rip it off a little bit because I I can't really fit it all under there. Where did I rip it? Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it there. So, fix that later. Okay, so I've added quite a few of the die cuts. I just ripped a few pieces, just decorated a little bit the way I liked. Just waiting for the truck to pass. So we can leave it here. You can add a little bit more, like I said, we can add a bit of this contour liner, I think it's called. And I had some epoxy thingies. Now this is annoying because I spent so much time this morning looking for them and now they're gone, but got them. This is from a Felicity Jane kit that I had in my stash. So like the green ones really, the dark green ones really go with acrylic paint color. So I can add that a little bit on, or I can go for a little bit of the lighter green. I can even add in the yellow ones to get that yellow back in. But I don't have the really small ones. So what I like to do with these things is I have like one of each size, because there are 3 different sizes. Maybe I'll do the light green one. Where shall I put it? Like, do I need my tweezers? Maybe. So since I have a little bit more space here, I think I'm gonna go for this spot right here. And again with this one I just like to group some of them together. And then the middle size. So annoying. Somewhere there, that's fine. And then the smallest one somewhere there, and then maybe we can add another one of the middle size right here. I want it to go a little bit under the head. Something like that. There we go, I like that. So I guess my card is finished this way. So what I will do, but I need to find the strength and the willingness to run all these dies through my die cut machine again. I am going to complete 2 more cards with the background papers that we've made, with the butterfly and the dragonfly. And then, yeah, we'll see. I feel like I like this a little bit better than this, and I don't really feel like it goes together in the one project. I'll see what I do if I make something similar again with these paint colors, but I want to do something to like create something to place these in. So we'll see what I come up with, but for now this is finished. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.